Hey, hi, hello, how are you? So what's going on in the world? My name is Vasanta and I'm a Vedic astrologer. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today in this video we're going to be reviewing the predictions for October of 2021. Last month the big giants Saturn and Jupiter went retrograde, so that's been causing a lot of delays, frustrations and worries about money and well-being, also worries about health. The good news is that this month, gladly, both of them go direct, so that should bring very good news into the world, and you will see how your projects go forward. So let's take the time to look at the important events during the month. So we start on the 2nd with the Ekadashi. So Ekadashis are days for fasting. So I have marked it here in the day 2nd, and we also have it on the 16th. We have Indira Ekadasi and Pasankusha Ekadasi. So on these days, you can consider a day for light fasting. You can eat fruits and drink water, take milk, but generally it is indicated that on those days we don't eat grains, and then what will happen is your body will cleanse. So the Ekadashis are there marked. Then we have a series of events. Most of what is going to be happening during this month is going to be happening in earth signs. So all the retrogrades, at the moment Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn are retrograde in Capricorn, Jupiter being fallen. So this is what's generating most of the frustration in people. We feel like projects are not really consolidating, or like we cannot really go forward. Why? Because so here in the Maslow pyramid that you see in your screen, you have the different levels of human consciousness. So we start with the body, then we ascend to psyche, will, intellect, and essence, all the way to the soul. So the more that we go down towards the pyramid, we are going to have the earth signs being Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you can see, there is Saturn, Jupiter, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury, including also Ketu, the south node of the moon. Everything is in earth signs, so economy and the basic human needs are going to be what we're going to be thinking about a lot during this time. So it's a time where we want to feel safe. Everybody is just looking for that safety, material safety, preservation. So that may mean wealth, or it may also mean health. So what you can see is that generally the governments of the countries are going to be very, very bent on the fact that people need to keep very, very healthy, to the point of overreaction, really. So don't be amazed if the law enforcement is a little thick where you live. And also don't be amazed if children go back from school to the house for some time during this month. Also, Virgo, being occupied by the Sun, Mars, and Mercury, creates a very overwhelming energy. On the 2nd, also Venus enters Scorpio, so that is going to create some emotional tension, especially with past people coming in from the past into our life, and you know what that may mean, and the frustration that may bring forward. So we're going to be understanding that perhaps it's time to let go. It's going to be a little frustrating until the 11th because again, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Mercury are going to be retrograde. But the good news is that on the 11th, Saturn goes direct. A couple of days before, on the 9th, Ketu, Venus, and Moon conjunct. So if I would say there's a very red day, or a day to be careful, that's going to be the 9th of October. So in those days, be very careful, be very polite, and be very mindful of your relationships. Saturn, Jupiter, and Moon conjunct on the 13th. So, it's a day of a little bit of pressure. Then we have the Ekadashi. On the 17th, we have the Sankranti, which is the day that the Sun enters Libra. And the Sun falls in Libra. Also remember that the Lord of Libra, being Venus, is going to be debilitated by its conjunction with Ketu. So emotionally, the second half of the month, I think what's going to happen, we're going to be feeling a little down on our personal relationships, but at the same time we will understand that it's better to harmonize those relationships. The Sun has a hard aspect of Saturn during this month, so the Sun is not very happy, neither the Lord of the Sun. The good news is Jupiter goes direct on the 18th, and so does Mercury. So that overwhelming concern with economy and health is going to start moving forward on the 18th. So you will see that governments perhaps ease up and have better news for the citizens from the 18th onwards. If you're going to make any type of purchase, etc., wait until after the 18th. So let's have a look first at Mercury, which in this year is going to be having a very special position because Mercury is going to go retrograde, and at the same time it's going to be exalted. Together with this, it's going to be conjunct the Sun and Mars, which makes the conjunction pretty intense. So what is going to happen here is, I think the efforts to try to watch the health of the population is going to be very strong. There's a lot of concern in organization and a lot of concern in health, and to keep everybody in a category which they belong. So I think that there's a lot of legal control over the vaccination and trying to keep a track of who's vaccinated and who's not, and giving the citizens the rights basis on that. So overall, what you're going to see is that Mercury is going to be way overloaded. That's from September 26th until October 18th, which is when Mercury goes retrograde. In the start of the retrograde, you will see that there's some sort of balance and harmony. And also it is because it's going to be receiving a direct aspect from Jupiter. So there's going to be a lot of campaigns socially. We're going to be encouraged by the government to take up the vaccine massively. So remember, during this month, the masses are very important. Not so much the personality as the masses, and to behave like a good citizen. It is a good time to go back, repair, clean, and resolve problems. And also remember to back up computers, records, documents, and files. You're going to need your documents. You're going to be keeping tight. It's a month for cleanup, really. It's a month for assessing our health and reassessing our, so to speak, to put our feet on the ground when it comes to cleanliness and being neat. So the areas of attention during this month are going to be everything that is methodical, and also your economy and your legal. I'm leaving you a list of things that you might want to pay attention to. Remember that everything has to do with putting things in its right place. The Vedic value that we are practicing is truth. So it's all about material well-being and keeping things in order. I would say civil order. So that is the name of the game during this month. The pressure to bring civil order and health, and the pressure that the governments have to keep the population healthy. There's going to be a lot of cleaning involved. You're going to be concerned about your economy and documents. So the energy is going to be quite overwhelming. So I think you're going to catch yourself nitpicking on all of these areas. Remember that Mercury has an overload of energy, and that the Sun and Mars being overloaded could lead you into arguments. So from October 2nd to the 18th, there's a tendency to get caught up in details. And here's where the arguments and the disagreements may come forward. So try to curb your impulses when it comes to religion, your opinion on the vaccinations, politics, because it could lead to very detailed and long threads of arguments that you don't really need to have. So know your opinion and be strong about it. Try to remain civil and always understand that you have the right to express your opinion, but always try to be courteous, diplomatic, and respect the opinion of the other. In the end of the day, the facts and being well informed is what is going to help you to make a good decision when it comes to your own health and the health of the people around you. So maintain yourself informed, read as much as you can, ask the experts, and then the anxiety should go away. When I say experts, if it's legal, then try to consult with a lawyer. If it's medical, try to go to a qualified physician, etc. So then finally, from the 18th to the 1st, the 18th Mercury goes direct. So all of that nitpicking will yield a result that you will feel like you can finally move forward with your plans. And it'll remain direct and exalted in Virgo until the end of the month. And which will be when Mars, finds its conjunction with it. And Mars and Sun and Mercury, when they conjunct, it gives for a lot of very strong argument. So that is the point to watch here. Again, if you look at the screen, you have underneath the green section is highlighted. So as long as you speak the truth politely, diplomatically, with respect, everything should be okay, and you should be able to go forward and preserve your civil status. Also, very big warning for people when it comes to vaccination papers. Don't try to cheat on it. I think that you should get your own paper, your green pass. Get your own, because I think that the government is going to have a keen eye on fining those people that don't have their own pass. So please be careful with this. Okay, so the next on our list, if you have a look over here in the Dharma code, a map for good choices, great choices, as long as you keep Dharma at the center of your life and your practices, you should be okay. So there's a lot of emphasis during this month in kindness when it comes to your feelings. I think it's going to play a major role to be very forgiving and very kind with oneself and to others, especially when it comes to relationships from the past. It's going to be a month of letting go. And it's going to be a month where you're going to be looking back at what happened before, and you're going to be, really thinking about it and understanding that people go their own way. Just as people came your way, people go their own way. So kindness and compassion is always something that you can practice. And then for the rest, we do have the Sun going into Libra, so that should help a lot with pacifying and harmonizing those relationships. There's a direct relationship between the Sun and Venus, because Venus will be lording the Sun. Now, what happens here is Venus is going to be quite uncomfortable because it'll go to Scorpio. And Scorpio can be very intense when it comes to relationships, very psychologically nitpicky. And it's going to be conjunct K2 there. So I think we're going to be double guessing our relationships during this month. And I think there's issues when it comes to trust and vulnerability, I would say especially. Can I really trust this person? Can I be vulnerable? Can we be friends? Can we construct something long term? Is going to be the word of the day. And the atmosphere is going to be with a degree of emotional disappointment. You will see an increase in conspiracy theories and, opening of mysteries from the past. On October 9th, this is the red day that I'm going to mark in the month. Be very careful a few days before and a few days after, because the atmosphere is going to be very tense in the area of personal relationships. Remember, be compassionate to yourself, be kind and compassionate to others. There will be a sense of mistrust and paranoia regarding trusting the people from the past. If we dedicate ourselves to spiritualize the month and our relationships, the core of everything is to understand that the best way to have a relationship is to have an attitude of respect and desire to serve another in our life. But that service should be given as a gift, so to speak, without detachment. And then it is practically impossible for us to become overwhelmed with expectation, which is usually what goes wrong in relationships, that we tend to have an expectation of what the other should have done with the gifts we have given them. So parents, watch out with your kids, and kids, watch out with your parents. And the month promotes an overall atmosphere of separation from loved ones, and also the sense of missing them. And there's going to be a sense of wanting to be free from crowds, rest and solitude, so that we can go and reflect and put our life once again back in order. Spiritual journeys are favored. Also, do remember that look at all those planets also in the tribe of the earth. So remember to be truthful, and remember to try to connect with your inner essence so that you can manifest and take good decisions, right? Don't take a decision that you will regret later. Sit down, take a breath, put your feet on the ground before you react. Act from a place of consciousness and goodwill. Do not react from a place of pain. And then the month should go okay. But anyhow, the program is there and the tests are going to be there as well. So something we learn and something we're going to grow during this month. It is the blessed month of Kartik, so the month comes with very big blessings. So for everyone we let go of, opens a door for people and new energy that come in. And remember that we always learn something in life from everybody we encounter. So the secret to life is to build upon what we have learned with goodness, and that goodness is the gift that we give for those people that destiny has organized to bring in our life in the next chapter. All right, so finally some good news. So here's the good news. It is the end of the retrogrades. We're going to experience that this month. So for the past month or so, Saturn and Jupiter have been retrograde, and for some time now Pluto has been retrograde. So all of the tests that we've been passing regarding restriction and regarding putting your feet on the ground and conscientiousness, here you can see in the map that the green area is highlighted. So all those tests, they will have been passed during this time. Now, moving forward, when a planet goes forward from its retrograde, it moves significantly the energies. So we will not be experiencing so much frustration in these areas. So what are the areas where the planets are going to move? Government, authority, and business. So the government is finally going to feel that they're getting somewhere regarding the pandemic. And, in one way, there's going to be an enforcement of legality, when it comes to the citizens. But a level of stability will be achieved from the 18th onwards. And it's not going to back out. So the good news is, as Jupiter goes forward into Aquarius and, over the half of next year, Saturn joins in Aquarius, things are going to tend to be much, much better than they've been up to this point. When it comes to authority, you will see that, it's going to make more sense. I think the government's going to know better what to do and how to deal with the pandemic, so it'll be mainstream. And then finally, when it comes into the area of business, things are finally going to move forward, and you're going to start feeling like finally you get contracts, finally things are starting to take shape and move forward, and some long-term projects may also come into play. Retrogrades really symbolize areas of our consciousness where we need to go inwards and make order, really, and make sense of reality. So we need to pay attention not to the external world as much as we need to pay attention to the internal world. So our diet, our health, our exercise routine, the way that we pay our bills, the way that we keep our economy, the way that we keep our debts, the way that we follow the laws in our respective countries, everything is for the purpose of keeping civil order, and also for the purpose of keeping society running in a stable way and in a preserved way. So in this case, our basic needs are very in the spotlight. So our basic needs are economy, health, our goals, what it means to be economically stable, successful. What does it mean to be a good citizen? What does it mean to redefine our career? By this moment, many people are redefining their life and asking themselves the question, where do we go next from here? So if these costs that life is going to give us are not addressed during these times, what's going to happen is later on they're going to become problematic. So, Saturn being a teacher that is very strict, listen to his teachings, because he's trying to let you know that if these areas are left unchecked, you're going to end up with a problem later on. Again, the worry comes in the area of health and economy. Debts are going to be worrisome. You're going to have a lot of desire for external resources. So, that Papa government would help, or that the elders would help. During this time, there's going to be some sort of conspiracy theorists. They're going to be getting out there and making their voice heard. And there's a mistrust both in governmental institutions and also religious institutions. So there's mistrust in our leaders and teachers. And there's a general sense of enforcement of the law on the citizens. So that's for the first half of the month. Then after the first half of the month, there's a very sound relief. So I think better laws are going to be published by then, and it's going to be less painful to follow them, let's say. There is pressure from the government, and there's also economical pressure throughout the first 2 weeks of the month, and then that pressure naturally will be relieved as things go back in, well, we can't say back into normal order, but how things find order, a new order. So there's a sense of moving forward instead of being stuck. So here is where the example of the traffic jam may come in, where, like if you've been in a traffic jam and you've been standing there for some time, sometimes you turn your car off, and then at some point finally the jam starts moving forward, and you feel like, finally. There's a sense of relief. Of course, that doesn't mean you've reached your destination, but at least things are moving forward. So slowly but surely that traffic jam is going to move forward, and there is an ease of tension after October 18th. Regarding the pandemic, there's an improved optimism. So you're going to see finally that generally we're going to start having an improved sense of relief globally. The economy is going to be in the same spot as well. So even though the first 2 weeks are going to sound like pressure, then there's relief and some degree of celebration. Now, remember, we're not out of the woods until November 20th, when Jupiter moves out of debilitation. But what you can expect when Jupiter goes direct is a lot of charity, a lot of social help, people gathering together, minorities who had, let's say, the short end of the stick before this times are going to rise up and say, hey, we have rights too, please listen to us. We'd like to be listened to, and our concerns need to be taken into account. And I think overall we're going to come around to understanding that after this great crisis and the frustration it has brought, we have also grown in the level of being very mindful of what is necessary and very mindful of our time, resources, everything that is concerning our basic needs. The main one being our health, putting back at the center. So as well, we are realizing what is important in life and where we should invest towards the future. So with this, I will say goodbye, and thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. I wish you well. Remember, the two values that we're practicing are truth and kindness, and also by the end of the month, you can harmonize with clarity of intention. Have a great month, and from my side, this is all. And before you go, so celebrating that the retrogrades are final over, I have the discount on my Vedic Astrological Courses. If you get them bundled together, you save even more, and even the bundle has a €100 discount. If you get them separately, level 1 has €50 discount, and level 2 will have a €100 discount, but the price is higher if you buy them separately. So the bundle is there, also with the discount. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like so that YouTube algorithm understands that people are watching. And please subscribe to the channel for monthly news and also insights on meditation, mindfulness, and spirituality.